Hey everybody, this is John here, the founder at Hapi. One of my goals this year is to put out videos around once a month at the least, and I wanted to start my first video off walking through what's been happening at Hapi over the past year, because there's been a lot happening behind the scenes, a lot that hasn't surfaced from the public's eye, and it probably looks like we've gone off the grid for a good year because we pretty much have. And I wanted to just give some background around why that is and what's been happening and what is, I guess where we're headed next as a company. And I'm committing a major sin right now by filming this in portrait, but every time I tried to film in landscape, the eye contact I was able to make with the camera wasn't so good. So I thought I'd just stick with this, and it's a bit more personal as well. I'm just walking around in a forest. So I'll jump straight into it pretty much. I've got a couple of notes here just with me that I'll refer to every now and then, so don't mind that. But so essentially over the last year, Hapi has taken a bit of a back seat, and the reason being for that is my business partner and our chief scientist, Adam, and we both suffered really serious depression, and there's a lot of irony to it given the nature of the sort of game we're in biohacking and cognitive enhancement and mental performance. It looks like mental health sort of missed the bill for quite some time for both of us, and so given that we're the only two full-time people on the company, and we both went through just crippling, debilitating depression for the good part of 2017, it wasn't too useful in terms of productivity for the company. But personally, it was transformational. I think it will definitely be a year we look back on and cherish, because we're able to overcome both our situations for the most part. There's still lots of healing to be done and lots to reconcile, and there's still heaps to sort, but we're in a good point of stability now, which is really good. So that's the major reason why why it's been a slow year as a company for us, and why we haven't been sending out updates as often or doing as much or releasing products as quickly as we want to and all that kind of stuff. That's the reason. So, and it's definitely given me a completely new understanding on mental health, having gone through that myself. I always just used to think, like, when I would see someone that's sad, given that I've always been a pretty happy, smiley person, I'd just say, like, get happy, like, get over it, sort of thing. But then having gone through that, and then having got to a point of suicidal sort of thoughts and patterns on several occasions, it gave me a new appreciation for the disease that it is, depression. It's a mental disorder, and it's full on, and it's certainly something that through our company I want to get involved in, because I think there's a lot of people out there that need help, more so than people who just need to be more productive at work. From my personal anecdotal experience through hell and back anyway. All right, so I don't want this video to go for all of eternity, so I'll try to keep it as succinct as possible, but I do also like to go into detail with things. So so that's what happened with Hapi over the past year, and this year we're pretty well sorted personally, both of us, and so we're really going to kick things back into full gear, which I'm genuinely excited about, because being in such a deficit for so long, it felt horrible knowing that we've got all of these stakeholders, investors, customers, everybody that are counting on us to deliver, and we just continued to under-deliver for essentially a whole year straight. Not the best feeling, so there's certainly redemption is certainly on the way. But all right, so I'll kick it off with the first bit of exciting news for 2018, which is that we are going to be launching doughs tomorrow. I've got no idea what the date is, to be honest, off the top of my head, and I can't check on my phone because I'm filming. But yeah, we go live with Doze Monday, which is awesome. Doze is our sleep product, which has been in the works in the R&D process for 18 months now. I mean, we've gone through so many revisions. It's legitimately not funny. We've done so much testing on both ourselves and through beta testers and other people in the inner circle, and we'll finally come to a formulation that holistically tackles the sleep factors that we want to. So improving sleep quality, so helping people to get into deeper sleep states, improving sleep continuity, so essentially helping people stay asleep the whole time instead of waking up multiple times during the night, helping stay relaxed and calm one's mind down before bed, because if you're a night owl like me, that can be pretty tough if, you know, you you want to go to bed, but your mind just starts playing tricks on you and gets into that very creative, stimulated mode. And then also helping people wake up feeling more refreshed instead of getting, you know, the opposite of a hangover. So there are a lot of products out there like heavy pharmaceutical benzos, which will certainly knock you out and improve sleep latency, but maybe not so much the feeling when you wake up you might have a bit of a hangover. That's what seems to be a pretty common theme anyway. And then, yeah, sleep latency. So a lot of people are massive fans of melatonin, but here in Australia, you can't sell melatonin because the regulations here are pretty bonkers. But thankfully, we've got a couple of ingredients in Doze which act in similar ways. One which actually is a precursor to melatonin, which is really cool. So yeah, that's really exciting. So that's, 12 hours away from being released, at least at the filming of this video, which is really cool. And we initially planned to do a 1-month trial before releasing the product, but at this point we really believe that we've done sufficient testing. I mean, we've done so much testing, very data-driven, evidence-based testing, and we're at a really happy point. And everybody that's taken this revision of the product is really happy with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to release the product, and we're going to schedule in a 1-month trial. So it will be a pseudo sort of clinical trial where we're going to be doing, so like over a 30-day period with say 50 to 100 participants, placebo controlled, so we Doze versus placebo, to see if Doze statistically actually improves sleep compared to placebo. So that's going to be really exciting. Let me just switch over here. And so what's next? So releasing Doze, doing the trial, and then what we're also releasing is some more flexibility to everybody, which is you. And what that means is for our existing flagship product Flow and for Doze, each product will now come in a 20 serving and a 30 serving version. So one of the things that we realized through customer feedback is that there are a lot of people that are subscribed to Flow. I think around 90% of our customers are sort of working professionals, mostly in city areas. And the feedback that we've got is that they don't need the product on weekends, and they only need it on weekdays, which makes sense. Weekdays are when most people are working. And so what happened is all these people that only needed it on weekdays, they kept accumulating an oversupply of the product and then stopped needing to be subscribed. And so we're rolling out more flexibility, so you can choose either a 20 serving version or a 30 serving version going forward for both products. And in addition to that, we are changing the pricing structure as well. So for the 20 serving versions of, like both Flow and Doze have the exact same price to keep things simple. And so for the 20 serving version on a monthly subscription, that goes down now to $49. Which is $10 less per month, which will be great for people that just need the products on weekdays. And then if you just buy, and then if you want the 30 serving version monthly, that's $59. So there's a $10 difference between the two. And then if you just want to buy either of the products one-off, just a single bottle, then that varies between $59 for a 20 serving and $69 for 30 serving. So that will be an announcement we're going to roll out in depth, because we're both reducing the price. We're both like bringing the price down by $10 for one tier, but then increasing it sort of by 10 for the other tier. and that'll be outlined in a full post. But the main reason is when we transitioned to our new formulation of Flow and Dose as well, because we did have that out in the market briefly at one point. They're very cost effective to produce, our first versions, but the current versions that we have, they're not so cost effective to produce. I mean, to give you some perspective, they both cost double of what they originally did, and we, up until this point, never changed the price to reflect that. And so essentially our profit margin went way down, and that also prohibited us from moving forward very quickly as a business, because the margins were so low that we just kept chewing up all of the profit that we accumulated and ended up going in circles. And so we really just need to escape that, and we wanted to introduce a win-win. All right, so that's that. So we're going to be rolling out lots of really cool things, and I personally started the company back a couple of years ago, I think 2015, to get into personalized supplements and personalized health, and then eventually getting into genomics and genetics and how you can recommend things based on all of that. That's what I started the company to do, and that's the direction we're heading in. It's one of the big reasons for my depression personally, was sort of moving the company in a direction that I didn't start it to do, and continuing to go off and off and off into another direction that I personally don't align with, and then I ended up taking all sorts of nootropics all the time, just everything I possibly could. At one point I was taking nicotine, modafinil, Ritalin, our Flow product, and then a bunch of other stuff on a daily basis, multiple times, to really force myself into being in a productive mode. But the problem was, the reason I had to force myself into that mode is because it just wasn't aligned with the direction that we were going in. And so it just made no sense. And thankfully I realized that, and I have since reconciled it. So the direction that we're going to be heading in is more down the technology and personalization path. So some of you may know of our wellbeing report that we started working on. And so the whole idea behind that is a really simple, you sort of fill out a survey to begin with. And then you fill out a survey about your sleep, your nutrition, your fitness, and your cognition, your brain power. And then what it will do is, based on all that, it will give you scores, and then it will generate you a report, and then it'll tell you what areas need attention from a high level. So maybe your sleep is really good, and your fitness and brain power are really good, but your sleep really needs some work. And so we'll highlight what sort of main category you need to work on, and then all of the sub factors in that area that you probably should start with. And so as an example, if you score poorly on sleep, it's like, okay, well, that's useless to know. So it's like, most people can tell if they're sleeping like shit, but it's just like, well, what specific factors are causing that, and what are the reasons? So let's say you find it hard to get to sleep at night, which is a sleep latency issue. And so then we'll give personalized recommendations based on that factor. So we'll say, okay, well, use blue light blocking glasses every night, blackout curtains, say white noise when you're sleeping, all sorts of different techniques. So we're going to focus mainly on lifestyle recommendations, and then pair that with products as well, which will lead on to my next point, which is that we're going to be releasing a personalized supplement service as well, personalized supplements and nootropics in some form of pill packs. So again, it'll be this process where you fill out a bunch of questions so that we can understand what your needs are, and then based on that, we'll put together these personalized pill packs, which will have all of the different supplements and nootropics you need for your goals, in simple daily packs that you can just sort of rip open, and it's as simple as that, really. And you just get shipped a box every month of 20 to 30 packs, and you can alter it based on if you're improving or not. So you'll be able to sort of fill out the survey or the quiz once a month, and then it will update your regime based on how you're tracking, which is pretty cool. Very much a data-driven, quantified self sort of approach, which makes a lot of sense. Another thing we're going to be releasing, which we've had in the pipeline for a long time, is wellbeing coaching. And so it's all good and well to give people recommendations or diagnose them, but sometimes what you really need to make the difference is a professional to coach you through those health issues and overcome them. And so that will be another layer on top of everything, where you can book in a session with a couple of professionals we're going to have on board. So that will be head up by Adam, our scientist that's on board, our chief scientist. Adam has a really deep understanding of a lot, and so he'll be the medical assistant to the medical doctor that we're bringing on, Attila, in the beginning. And so the initial sort of sessions will be with Adam to get a diagnosis and to get a holistic understanding of your health. And then a report will be put together and an action plan on how you can sort of move forward with your health. And then you'll have a follow-up session with Attila to get the medical sign-off and some further insight as well. So that's going to be really cool. And then eventually, if that goes well, I think it's likely we'll try to open up some sort of physical clinic, some sort of a physical presence, very much focused on performance enhancement rather than the traditional medical paradigm, which is just sort of treating symptoms and never addressing the underlying issue or trying to help people perform better. It's just sort of numbing people. And anyway, that's a whole nother topic. So that's going to be another thing that we're releasing. Another product that I am really excited about is, after we release those, will be our Cuppa product, which we've had ideas around for ages now. And so Cuppa is going to be some sort of a coffee product, something that pairs well with Flow, because as far as we're aware from feedback, most people take our Flow product with coffee, and it makes a lot of sense because the studies done on the synergy between a caffeine source and ingredients in Flow, such as tea cream and L-theanine, are massive. And Flow was never built to be overstimulatory like coffee, because of the sort of adenosine receptor tolerance that one can get over consuming coffee all the time, especially on a daily basis. It's pretty much unavoidable. That's why we opted to use tea cream instead of caffeine, because it shows non-habituation in the clinical trials that have been done, which is awesome. But the fact is, people still love taking it with caffeine, love taking Flow with caffeine. And so we're going to put together some sort of a product around that. It might be tea-based, it might be coffee. We're looking at ways we could possibly infuse it with MCTs, all sorts of ideas. We haven't started the R&D process for that, but we will soon, and that's a product I'm pumped about releasing, because that will really set someone up on a daily basis. You have your sort of Flow and Cuppa in the morning, then you have another Flow capsule midday to top up, and then you have your dose at night, and that helps with some really core fundamental areas of one's life. Okay, so there's that, and it'd be cool to get into some sort of I definitely have a bias and an inclination through my experiences over the last year to release some sort of a mushroom-based coffee product. I'm a big fan, definitely, of Four Sigmatic, but also just on my journey with therapeutic mushrooms, I definitely see the potential there. I mean, they're very healing, they're very holistic, and they can help with a lot of different factors. And so I think that will make a lot of sense. But anyway, we'll give everyone an update on Cuppa as it comes. All right. So what else have we got here? So another thing we have in our pipeline before we release Cuppa will be to release a Flow formulation revision, which will be our third or fourth revision, I believe. And yeah, because we planned to do this last year. We did major sessions with a lot of people that are subscribed or are customers of Flow to get their feedback on what they would like to see more of and less of. And it was pretty much everyone wanted to see more concentration benefits of Flow and memory enhancement benefits, as opposed to all of the other factors that we could possibly work on. And so the updated version of Flow is going to be more geared toward that intense concentration and memory enhancement, which helps one get into a flow state. Okay, so that's Flow. So then a couple of other things that we'll be working through as well. moving more toward being a company that has a social impact. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. We have to figure that out. There are certainly some good reasons to be putting a percent of our profits into effective altruism. Into effective altruism. That's one idea. Then we're going to be pushing the transparency again a lot more hardcore. It's not that we have been neglecting that side of the company. Sorry, it's not that we've been moving away from the transparency. We've just been neglecting it because of the state that Adam and I were in for the past year. We literally just didn't have time to be pushing a lot of that out, and it's a shit excuse because transparency is really at the core of our company, and it's one of the big reasons why I started our company, to be one of the only companies in the world to be in this space in supplements and pharmaceuticals and health, to be extremely, just radically transparent about everything from start to finish, so that everyone knows what the hell's going on behind the scenes, because there's a lot of secrecy in the industry, that's for sure. So we're going to be pushing that more. We're going to be pushing educational content a lot more as well, and we're currently exploring the best format to be pushing out educational content. I certainly love infographics and explainer videos. I feel like static blog posts don't really do things justice, and as human beings as well, as they say, it's like 90% of communication is non-verbal. So when you're just reading the static blog post, you're not really getting a lot out of it, and that's also a reason why I wanted to do videos, because you can see the person, and when you stare just blankly into a screen at text, it's dead. There's no life to it. There's no soul to it. So anyway, that's another thing we'll be doing, educational content, and then then really just trying to become a company with soul, a company with a really good culture, and looking at things a bit differently, right? Like looking at our company's valuation in terms of the impact that we're having on people and the culture that we have, instead of how much our company is worth in terms of in monetary terms. Obviously, balance is key. And that's what we're going to try to establish this year for sure, because last year on the financial side certainly wasn't the best year, and there's certainly a deficit to be made up this year. But at least on the personal side and the cultural side, that developed very strongly over the past year. So I think the foundation of Hapi is certainly there, and now it just needs to sort of propel. All right, that's about all I can think of. Oh yeah, one other cool little nice thing that we're going to be introducing actually is this add-on product to anybody that subscribes to Flow and Doze on a monthly basis. It's this really cool product called Pillsy. So it's this company from San Francisco, and they have created these smart pill bottles. And essentially what they do is they just remind you to take your product, like they just remind you to take whatever supplement product you're taking on a daily basis. And so it's one of the big things that we also realized with Flow is that people just forget to take it. And that's a massive thing. It's not that they don't want to take it, they literally just forget, and I forget all the time. And so with Pillsy, it's a smart pill bottle, and when you get your order, you'll pour your capsules into it. So let's say you pour your dose capsules into it, and then you connect it to your phone with Bluetooth, and then you set the dosage and the time that you want it to remind you every day. And then let's say you go to bed at 10 p.m. every day. What Pillsy will do is it'll just beep at 10 a.m. It'll beep and flash, and then you'll get a reminder on your phone saying that, hey, take your dose. And you don't have to use it for our products. You're obviously welcome to use it with whatever you want, but it's a really cool product that we want to test out and see if people get value from it. And so that's just something to keep in mind as well. If you're a fan of Flow and Doze and you want a free bottle of Pillsy, then then you can just subscribe and unsubscribe anytime. Like you can subscribe for 1 month and cancel straight away if that's what you want to do. This isn't a sales pitch. I just genuinely think it's an awesome product. It's going to help people because, especially people, I think maybe less so in the context of what Hapi currently sells, but in the future, when when it's getting more into that medical space, or even existing medical companies that are out there, when it's life or death, for people needing to take their medication, something like Pillsy can be helpful. All right, that's about it. So one thing I do want to say to everybody is I guess a massive sorry for just really dropping the ball over the past year. Not so much a sorry, like I make no apologies for my mental health state. I certainly think that's one of few things that are excusable in terms of dropping the ball. But nonetheless, I very much have redemption in my sights, and I have my excitement for everything is certainly back to what it used to be. The past year, I really was not too excited at all about what we were doing or about life in general, but that's all sort of the past now, and going forward it's hustle mode and really pushing things into this future direction that we want to, releasing some cool new products and services, and I guess seeing where we go in this next chapter. It's going to be cool. So and thanks for everybody, thanks for all of our existing subscribers who have stayed with us for so long. I mean, legitimately, our company wouldn't exist if it weren't for all of you. When we had just cyclical downturns in sales, or when we had issues with regulators, when we had an issue in March and April with the TGA, and just during other times as well. It's our subscribers that buying Flow on a monthly basis and taking Flow on a monthly basis that kept things going. If we didn't have that consistent sort of stream of revenue coming in, then I don't know what we would have done. So we're very grateful for that, so thank you. And to everybody else that has supported us, all of our advisors and investors, again, without the help of everybody in the circle that's just been helping us over the past year, there's no chance we would be here right now and sort of come back out of this pit of coals and reignite the fire. So anyway, I'm rambling toward the end of this video, so I'll leave it there. That's my first video for the year, and I'll probably cut them way down each subsequent time I do videos. So that's all for me. Peace, and I'll catch you later. Bye.